During the rise of professional wrestling, the only man that came close to the juggernaut of WWE was Eric Bischoff. But during his period at WCW Nitro, was this the only good contribution that Eric has made to the industry? In this video, we're going to break down why, outside of the WCW Monday Night Wars, Eric Bischoff's contribution to professional wrestling is very overstated. So if you like daily wrestling discussions and content, like, comment and subscribe to the channel for more. Eric's wrestling journey started in 1991 where he joined WCW as an on-screen announcer. From there he was promoted in 1994 as an executive producer before becoming senior vice president, putting him in charge of everything in WCW. It was at this point that Eric took control of the creative process in WCW and moved the weekly shows from tapings to televised broadcasts on Monday nights to compete with the WWF, and signed the returning Hulk Hogan. It was these major changes that led to WCW turning a profit for the first time in 1995, and Eric was made president of the company during the time of the birth of Eric's claim to fame, the NWO. At Bash of the Beach 1996, the world changed forever. In the closing moments of the main event, Hulk Hogan shocked the world by turning heel and joining Hall and Nash. The New World Order was born. From this point on, WCW was suddenly must-see TV, and ratings soared. WCW beat WWF's Raw in the ratings for 83 straight weeks. It was during this period in 1996 to 1998 where Eric's crowning achievements were on full show. NWO was running wild, and Goldberg was born. But after this super hot period, the WWF responded with the Attitude Era being born, with guys like The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin at the forefront of their plans. At this point, Eric Bischoff was creatively bankrupt. The NWO was a shell of its former self, and Goldberg's run was coming to an end. After the 83-week hot period, WCW was bleeding money, and it was shut down on March 23, 2001. Eric Bischoff was gone. But it wasn't for long. In 2002, he was hired by the WWE in a general manager role. Being that Vince McMahon was running the WWE, Eric had no creative control. His general manager character was very memorable with some great angles with Stone Cold Steve Austin and others, but this was not his ideas and he had zero influence on the WWE's long-term creative direction. With some internal differences and a little bit of a power struggle, Eric decided to part ways with WWE in 2005, before disappearing for about 5 years, and then the TNA run happened. Between 2006 and 2010, TNA was on its hottest run in the history of the company, with major signings like Kurt Angle, Sting, Jeff Hardy, and Christian that were on the upwards trajectory. But then the arrival of Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan completely derailed the company and their momentum, with a creative disaster lasting 2 years between 2010 and 2012. It almost put TNA completely out of business. Eric then went missing for another 7 years before returning to the WWE in 2019, when SmackDown had moved to Fox. Eric was brought in to be one of the creative minds to work alongside Paul Heyman and Vince McMahon, but he only lasted 3 months. Paul Heyman said Bischoff was lost in the modern creative process, and Vince McMahon replaced him with Bruce Pritchard just 3 months later. And now, other than his podcasts, Eric's only contribution to the wrestling industry is his new venture with Hulk Hogan again, Real American Freestyle, which is basically freestyle wrestling with a professional wrestling production and presentation. It's been a complete disaster so far, with their first event only a month away and have sold under 1,000 tickets in a 15,000-seat arena. In the end, when you strip away the flash of the NWA and the unstoppable rise of Goldberg, Eric Bischoff's wrestling resume looks far less impressive than his reputation suggests. His stint in TNA was directionless, bogged down by overproduced segments and recycled WCW storylines, and a complete misunderstanding of the modern-day wrestling fan. His run in the WWE left no lasting impression, and he has proved that the industry had long since passed him by. The truth is, Bischoff's name survives off the fumes of 2 great ideas from the late 90s. But when asked to innovate beyond that, he consistently fell short, whether it was pushing his son Garrett as a top star in TNA, or repeating the same old invasion storylines. His ideas felt outdated and disconnected. And the real verdict? Eric Bischoff may have been hot for 83 weeks, but the rest of his career, a cold reminder that lightning doesn't strike twice. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Bischoff was overrated? Or was he just a victim of bad timing?